created what is the like simple thing from SQL, and I'm just giving the brief. So SQL stands for Structured Query Language, which is a standard language for accessing and manipulating databases. So this looks simple and fine. That is good. But what is a database? First of all, we need to know this. Then only we can do any operation on that. Anybody from you, what is a database? And any example, like you feeling this would be a database. A simple example, which we are using daily. So is there anything like that we are using daily, a database, not in the office, in home itself? No, no idea. Okay. So, do you remember like in school days, college days, we are going to college and we are going to school, we are giving attendance, right? Where the faculty is going to mark your attendance in register, right? So register is also a kind of database. So whatever the data which we are giving, like which we are storing the data inside that would be a database. Simple thing. So in day-to-day life, we are having our mobiles. So our mobile is having some storage inside, right? In that storage, we are storing everything. So whatever the data we are storing inside, that is which contains the data, that is called as database. For database and relational database, there is a lot of difference. So first of all, you must know what is database. If you know the features of database, why we are using database, and then you can be more familiar with any language to write code on that. Because first of all, you need to learn how to write the code and how to deal with the database. Then only we are like the productivity of our code is going to be increased. Without knowing anything, like if we are writing something, means it's going in somewhere, like without, we don't know the way, but we are walking, it is like that. So database is nothing but just where we are storing the data, that is nothing but database. The best example for the database, you can consider your mobile phone. You having all the information in that, right? So otherwise the class registers where we are giving the attendance, and something like we are, wherever you are getting some indexes and all, like what is the expenditure, what is the amount, all these things comes where we are storing the data, that is nothing but database. First database is like what we have used, the first database is flat files. There we used flat files, then that is evolving, like nowadays we are having all kinds of information we can store, but initially it is like that, we'll store only structured data. You know what is a structured data? We have already discussed many times, the data which is having rows and columns. So that you can consider as structured data. So that structured data is storing in the database now. So we got like a picture, like database is nothing but structured data. It is not like that. Database can store any kind of data, but we are dealing with structured query language, SQL, that stores the data in rows and columns. And the main difference, you must know, what is the difference between data and information? Anybody from you? What is data and what is information? Just speak out. Don't sit like that. You want to go to office and you want to work somewhere, it is not the way you can deal, right? Just speak out whatever you know, because we are a small group, we're discussing here.
Data which makes some sense, like from which we can infer some information.
Okay.
Detailed data is information. Just raw data means normal data.
Okay.
Data can be 0, 1, like that, or and also, but something which makes sense.
Good, Srikanth and Vijita. What about remaining people? Yashwant, you don't know anything? What is data and what?
Yeah, data, it is not in an organized or like structured manner, like information where we can just have in a specific or a structured way, like data which can be organized and easily understandable. That is information.
Right, Ashwin. Sweta, you?
Yeah, data is such as structured or unstructured numbers, symbols, the raw values, and information is processed data that has been organized wise.
Yes, everybody is right. But data is nothing but whatever you collected, that is data. It may be junk data, nulls, duplicates, or like it is mixing of images, and it doesn't have any kind of proper value for that. Like data is nothing but just a raw material where you are collecting. Okay, suppose if I'm taking money, so in that I'm having 1 rupee coins, 5 rupee coins, and 10 rupee notes, and 100 rupee notes, 1000 rupee notes, like that you having all mixed together. But when it became information is when you separated everything, like you collected 1 rupee coins aside and 2 rupee coins aside. So data becomes information when you make that data in an organized way. By that, seeing the data, you will get some knowledge. So data is like that, pouring everything in one box. But information, it is like that, you are collecting everything and making it in a proper way. Means whatever the junk, you need to delete that, you need to remove the nulls, you need to do everything. After processing the data, you will get the information. So by looking into information, you know something. But data, it is not like that. It would be all dumped together. I can say some phone numbers, some some text, and whatever the case, you throw inside one. Suppose I'm taking one database, you throwing everything inside that, but you collecting that from the data to information. That is fine. That's fine. But why we are learning all these things? Why data? Why information? Why database? And why this is? Because whatever the operations, whatever the work you are doing on the data, that is giving the information to the analytics team. So my main motto is, so you are converting data to information. That is the process. In any data engineer, data analyst, data scientist, data developer, or data architect, or data manager, or whoever working on the data. So what they were doing, they were converting this data to information. That is our main motto. We are working together. Okay, that's simple, right? Looks nice. So what is database? A collection of organized information on a particular subject. It is organized so that queries and reports based on the information can be readily performed. So this is what, like, suppose if you go for a telephone book, you want to go for some fire engine number. So you can get it in that by checking the indexes, right? So what you are doing, you are indexing everything. I'm slowly injecting the subject, but be concentrate here. You indexing everything in it. Even in student records also, you will index. So what is indexing? Indexing is nothing but just segregating the things, right? If I told, like, suppose you have one textbook in your hand, in that you will find in the index the table of contents. So in the indexing, what they will give, so, from this page to this page, we are having this information. Due to that, what you need not to go through the all 1000 pages textbook. If it is in between 20 to 35 pages, you can go there straight away. You can look over there. So indexing is very important in the databases. Due to that indexing, what is happening? We are reducing the time. We are to call the data. Data is vast now. Now we are working on the big data. So big data, I can say you that terabytes of data would be there. And what is bit, what is byte? I'll go through that slowly. But now you just sit and listen. So this is what we are doing here in this database. We are collecting information in an organized way. So in database, we are collecting the information in an organized way. We are not collecting the data, we are collecting the information. Means data is already cleaned as an information, and that information also collected in an organized way. That is what database. And what is relational database? DBMS is fine. database management system. And what is database management? It is having databases. What is RDBMS? A relational database. So the difference between DBMS and RDBMS, DBMS is for database management system, and here only R is added, that is relational. What it means, in DBMS, all the files, all the tables, what you are having, maybe those tables are not interrelated. Okay, whereas coming to the RDBMS, all the tables are, they were having some relation with each table. Suppose if I go to some Reliance or any in my organization, let's go. So you having one employee table, and you having one salary table, or you having one HR, some values and all. So all these things are connected to whom? Employee. What is the salary? What is the highest salary of an who are drawing highest salary? Or what is the address of a particular employee? What is the location? So if you are having location stable, and again you having some like that, so all this information is related to employee, right? So in the same way, RDBMS, we are having data that is having relation between each table. That's why it is called as RDBMS. Okay, DBMS is like that. It is used by only single user, but RDBMS can be used by multiple users. And DBMS can handle small amount of data. Relational database management system is going to be very vast amount of data. So DBMS is evaluated as RDBMS. So in this RDBMS, you store the data, such kind of data which is having relation between each and every table, and it is vast, and at the same time it is having multiple users. But whatever the opposite thing is, comes with the DBMS. And this is RDBMS, DBMS. In future, we are going to discuss DBFS. Means we are discussing file system over there. This is relational database. Database is nothing but what we are having, structured data as of now, you remember. But if you went for FS, then it is having files, file system. You know how you having in your laptop, Microsoft. You having one folder, inside that folder you having files. Like if you have D drive, inside that you having different kinds of folders. Inside the folders you having different files. So that is what file system. This is database management system. You should not confuse between these things. Okay. So I hope you people got what is RDBMS and what is DBMS. Okay. The example for this RDBMS is SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, whatever the servers you are using, whatever the DBs you are using nowadays, that all comes under RDBMS.
Even PostgreSQL is RDBMS, right?
RDBMS only. Whatever you use for structured data, that is relational database management system. You just blindly remember that. If I said DBFS, what is that? Distributed file system. Don't get confused. DBMS and DBFS. Okay, DBFS we are dealing with. This RDBMS we require because all the warehouses are this only nowadays.
Distributed file system means Hadoop file system, right?
Hadoop file system. So there you are storing all the, not only HDFS, many distributed file systems are there, but whatever we are using in Azure and everywhere, that is HDFS, where we are having Hive Metastore and all. So DBMS, DBFS, don't get confused. DBMS is different, DBFS is different. DBFS is nothing but distributed file system. In your system, how you are having folders inside the files, inside the folders you having files. In the same way, in DBFS also you having folders. Inside the folders you having files. Blob storage, everything comes under DBFS only. Okay. So yesterday we discussed, right, DDL, DML, and DQL. So DDL is nothing but what I told, Dr. Cat, drop, create, alter, truncate. DML is nothing but UID, update, insert, delete. And data query language, we are using select, right? So how the table would be in database? A table is a database object which comprises rows and columns. Okay. So if you are working on a database, that looks like this. So you having rows and columns, right? What I told you, you should not call rows columns. You should call column as field, row as
Record.
record. Very good. So don't call from today rows and columns. Now we are calling this as records and fields. So whatever row you are calling, record. So if you are having 100 rows, how you can say it? 100 records. Okay. So if after going like when you are working, somebody say we are having 1,000 records or 1 million records, like that, what it means? Record number is nothing but row count. And these are all called fields. So let's see how to create a database. You just open your community edition. Start creating a database by giving your own name. What is the syntax for that? Create database name. Just give like that. You open one notebook.
See new and open a notebook, right?
Go to new notebook. Work parallelly with me. So here what you need to write? Create database test. So what you need to do here? You need to add the cluster, right? Anybody is doing? Will you share the screen for me? I'm able to see you what you are doing. Cluster created for you? Everybody. At least you started to create? No?
It will notify, right? Once it is completed, cluster.
You will get like this green color. See my screen. You will get like this.
Okay, got it.
Till then it was showing connecting. After that you will get a green color dot on that. So meanwhile, I'm telling you, like I have already informed you, but again, I'll walk through this canvas. See here, you having how many languages you can write here? Python, SQL, Scala, and R. Now we are learning SQL, so I have checked this SQL. But if you keep this in Python and you start writing this, it won't take the code. And even you can change it in the cell also. How you can change by giving percentage SQL. And try to make a habit that for everything you need to do some markdown. Okay, then you don't get confused. So if I gave percentage Python, then it will take what? It will change SQL to Python. So this is not the Python code, it's not running. So you must, because you're working in this cloud, so you must know in which language you are working and what you are writing. Must be aware of that. You will get most of the errors due to this only. Okay, this is what is the difference between experience and knowledge? Knowledge is known thing. Okay, experience is nothing but hands-on. So whenever you try to work, even small things, if you try to implement daily, day to day, then it became experience. So create database. I have created. I'm asking this to show databases. Whether it will show our database or not. So whatever the databases you are having, default, and I have created just before data class test. So once the cluster is on for you, you write the create database test, and then you having two options to run this. One to click here. If you click here, the entire cell is going to be run. Okay, understand? So if you click here, the entire code is going to be executed. But if you want to do only one line, so then you need to select this and run. Okay, for this to run, the shortcut is after selecting Shift plus Enter also works, Control plus Enter also works. Anybody started or not? Like, I'm not getting from you.
Still the cluster is starting.
Okay, okay. Remaining people? Except Vijita, remaining because she didn't join with laptop.
For me, it got terminated.
Okay, that is why. So you just restart or go to there, click on that, and then you will lead to new thing.
Okay.
Because nobody will teach you this. If I can continue whatever I'm having, but I need you people to understand and work accordingly. Otherwise, no use of this class and all. Any challenges, please let me know. I'm here for you. If you are familiar with this workspace, then from tomorrow onwards, we can be fast while working. Everybody cluster attached? Sweta, what happened?
Cluster has disabling for me.
Is it possible to share your screen?
Yeah, later. My screen is visible.
You share? No sharing. Me only sharing the screen. Okay, do one thing. I'll show you. See here. My cluster is there, right? So open here.
My cluster is disabled for me.
It's okay. How it looks, is it fine? Or simply go to compute.
Okay.
Under the workflows, you have compute. Went there.
Create a new compute.
Create compute. how it would be? Like, what is the pop-up for you?
It's loading.
Meanwhile, I'll tell you something like reminding people. You can see here. So whatever the clusters you having, you are having here the names and all. In paid version, it would be the clusters would be available once created. So you can select which cluster you need, and you can work accordingly. So, and next one, see here you saw that data DBU per HC. Have you seen that? So this is
Yes.
active DBU per hour. So the Databricks is costing depending on this. Databricks units per hour. So how many Databricks units per hour? Accordingly, the Databricks is going to be cost you. Okay, this is what. And this is the engaging course. How many course engaged? This is like a community edition. You having this limitation, but while you working, it would be different. So you can check here how many hours we have worked and what is the Databricks units per hour this is.
So Divya, we can select any of the runtime, right? For the creating of the cluster.
You can select, but everybody will select whatever the latest runtime, right? Because
So
that
16
was,
is the latest. 16 is the latest showing.
you can select it. Here also you can select it. I took like whatever they gave, you can select. But in that also you will having LTS and like already expired one, like that you having choose it according to you. At least you people access it, right?
It is taking forever to create the cluster. So
Forever to take. No, it won't be like that. Maybe you having internet issue. It's okay. Sweta, for you, connected. 5 minutes max, not more than that. Yashwant?
It came with my name, Shweta's cluster.
That's
Is
fine.
it okay?
You start writing this. You try to create one database. So SQL is very simple. Don't look at it as giant. Okay. So it is like an English kind of language. See what I wrote is that it looks like any code. Simple English, right? Create database name. The same way, create table name, and inside that we are giving whatever the fields we require, whatever the columns we require. Okay. So if you want to see the show databases, means how many databases are there, you can write show databases. If you want to use, I'm using, suppose I want to use test database, then I need to write. And one more thing I'm telling you, before writing anything, just try to make a habit of giving what is that. Then in future also, while writing big codes, then it won't get confused because you writing for what we'll write when we are writing, but when we go back and we look at that particular code, even we don't recognize what is that at that moment. So whatever I'm saying, just try to write some comments or some markdowns for that. Here I'm writing, this is creating.
how do we comment?
Commenting is different. See, if I want to comment in between code, it would be like this. Shift.
No, before or after the code, how to comment? I mean, just like a SQL, we can do that.
comment, that is what I'm telling. Commenting, suppose I have already created. Here I want to comment this create database. Okay. To comment this, what I need to do is, if I gave this double hyphen, then you will get commented. Okay. What I'm saying is markdown. Markdown is like heading, %MD. You can give %MD, or you can go here, you having text, see, code and text, in between everything, code and text, code and text. If you click on code, new cell is going to open for you to write code. Okay. If you click on text, then they have already given %MD. Or in code also, if you write %MD, then you will get markdown. Suppose I am writing here, creating database. I want to bold this. After giving like this, I'm just shift enter. Then you got this creating database. If you write like this, then what happens next time you go to the notebook, then it would be easier for you to understand what is that. Okay. So you need to write like this. This is markdown, you call. Okay, header, otherwise it is a header. After that, you can write code. So I'm writing like this, create database. After writing like this, what I'm doing, shift plus enter or control plus enter or run cell. If you click on run cell, enter cell is going to be ready. So here I'm asking this to show databases. Data class. Default database, it would be there. And test one I have created. Okay. So to use database, what we need to do, and see one more thing I want to tell you. If you are writing in SQL Server, this square brackets are allowed. But whereas coming to the Databricks SQL, these square brackets are not allowed. Even if you go to, after working some days, you will go to ChatGPT and you will give everything. Then ChatGPT will give in this square brackets. So if you take these square brackets, it won't work in the Databricks notebooks. See, I'm just giving you use database name, what we are having, test one. If I gave like this, it's going to work. If I gave in the syntax what I have shown, that is for SQL Server. Like this, it won't take. These are very simple. You must remember this. Suppose I want to say test. It will throw error. It was taking. So what we are using, test. Okay, if I want to drop the database, it won't drop because it is in use. Okay. If you are using the database, it won't going to drop in SQL Server. At the same time, it is going to drop. It is not going to drop in the Databricks also, because if you are using that particular database, then it's not going to be dropped. The simple thing, if you open any Excel and you're working over there, you want to delete that Excel outside of that, like you just came back and you go for your file manager and you go there, and if you want to delete the Excel file, will it going to be deleted? No, because it's already in use. In the same case, if you are using the database in SQL Server or anywhere, you're trying to drop that in the same database, it's not going to be dropped. I want to teach you everything in the Databricks only. That's why I'm doing all this here. But if you want to go for in your organization, if you are having SQL Server, then you can use SQL Server also. But here everything we are learning on cloud.
I think it would be better if we could use a Databricks only, because that would be the tool where we would be using, right?
Yes, yes. You are right. That's why I'm teaching Databricks SQL only. So here I'm having this many databases. Suppose I'm having T class. So now the database base is changed to T class, right? Here I want to drop the database.
Drop database tree.
Database. Cannot drop database T class because it is currently in use. So while using the database, you are not able to drop it, and you just remember nowhere we are going to drop the databases. Okay, these database, we are having the commands. It doesn't mean that we can do anything in your organization. We should not drop any database without informing your manager or who is your hierarchy. So because in the database, we are having all the crucial information. So whenever you are dropping a table, whenever you are dropping a database, think thrice before doing this. Okay. And what is the difference between delete, drop, and truncate? So what is the difference? Delete, drop, and truncate. Delete is nothing but you are using a delete just to delete some of the fields or some of the columns. Like, so if you want to delete some of the columns in a table, then you can use delete. But what is nothing but dropping table, dropping database is nothing but what? We are completely deleting that entire table, entire database. So, and what is the truncate? Truncate is nothing but the table would be the same, but only the data is going to be deleted. Okay, hope you understand. So the structure of the table remains the same. Suppose I'll show you one thing. See here, I'm having one table that is store details. So what is the structure of this table? This table is having rows and columns, records and fields. So this field headers is going to be remained same, but whatever the content inside, the data is going to be deleted. If you use truncate, I'll show you further because I want to work on this table. If I want to recreate this table, and again the time is going to be killing, already 7:48. So I just so everybody opened your workspace, right? we have created a database and we try to use that database. And after that, I'll tell you something that is more important. So data types. So whatever the data types we are having in SQL, you can see here. Data types, what is nothing but data type? That column which you are having, that field which you are having, that can hold what type of data. Means suppose if it is integers, or it is it is a float number, float, or it can be some mixing numbers and alphabets, or it may be only alphabets. So what kind of data that can be stored in a particular column, that is nothing but data type. So if you are if you are working somewhere and you doing like they have given you some data and they asked you to migrate somewhere, first of all, what you need to check, the first and foremost rule to work is what kind of file we are dealing with, whether it is delimited file, CSV, or how it would be like PSV or TSV, what kind of file we are dealing with. And second thing, what kind of data types we are dealing with. If your data type is not matching with your sync data type, you will get most of the cases data type mismatch. So before going anywhere, first if you have data, you just sit, relax, and check the data, how it looks and how it would be, what are the data types, what are the fields, and like what is the type of file. This is the first and foremost rule before you doing anything with the data. Okay, so you must know the data types. This is the range for the big int. Okay, and you don't need to remember everything because you just know these things. And nowadays we are having Google and ChatGPT and whatever AI tools we are having in our hands. If you just search there, it will give it. But whatever I'm saying, just have some look and idea on this. These kind of data types are there. Every time you go and search somewhere, it is not good. So you just remember this kinds of data types are there. What is big int? Big int is varying between this number to this number. And what is integer? So if you are having more than this number, then what you need to use? Big int and integer. And when you are going for small int, it would be nearly 32,768 plus to minus. So small int, big int, and tiny int. Oh, if you are having the number below 255, you can use tiny int. And decimals. So this is the what range of the decimals. Character data types. Characters means like you're giving in alphabets, right? Character is simple as that. Whatever you're giving text, that is called as character. So character you having, if you use char, that can take 255 characters. If you use varchar, 255 characters. What is the difference between char and varchar? Char you giving 255 means for that variable, it will already allocate 255 bytes, 255 bits of data. So whatever you having 255 characters, that will allocate that much data. But when you are going for varchar, this is going to be scaling one kind of. So if you give 20, then it will take 20. You can store 20 digits, like otherwise 20 characters in that. So in that way, you can decide whatever suits the best. Okay, if you go with text, this much characters. So these are all data types and the ranges. You having different date type, date, time, year. This is very important. So char, varchar, text, integers, this everything everybody knows. But this date, time is very important for you. If you going for date, it would store the date like this. Okay, this format. And time means hours, minutes, seconds. Year means y. Okay, so this is the format it was storing. It is not like that. If you give year 24 means it will take only 2024. It will take automatically. It is not the case. You need to give everything to the compiler because it's this was a machine. So how to create a table? to create the table, what do you need to do first? First of all, to do anything, what we need to do? We need to name the table, how the table would be. Second one, what are the columns you having inside that? Before going to anything, you must know what are the data types you having, and for the columns, what are the data types, and what would be the name of the table. Okay, once you gave the table, then it's fine. But if you want to change any column or any data type, that would be different scenario. You need to write alter table and all. So before altering the table and all, just make sure and be aware whatever you are writing a table, you are creating a table inside the database. Okay. So you try to create one table. I have already created one table because it will take, again, I'm typing and everything, it will take time. So try to create one table at your home, like after this session. So after creating the table, you having, see, create table is a syntax. Have we drop database, create database we are having. In the same way, we are having create table, drop table. Okay, create table. Table name is a syntax. Inside that, what you need to mention, what are the field names and what would be the data type of that field name. Suppose if I took store as integer and then store name. And here one syntax is there. If you are giving numbers, integers, you need not to keep that in quotes. But if you gave any varchar text char, you must be enter that in single or double quotes. Okay, this is the way. If you didn't give this, it will take as variable and it will throw exception. Okay, so try to write create table, table name, and then inside that columns and column data types. After that, you can enter the data in 2 ways. So first you created the table, so the structure is going to be created. The structure means store name, sales, order, store location, city, pin code. And if you want to give this data, then you need to follow. You are having 2 kinds of things. One, you can directly insert into the table by giving values, and in the open brackets, you can give whatever the data you want to give. But here only thing is, if you are giving like this, if you gave 1 and after that you gave 500 and Maruti and 350, like that if I gave, then what it will take, it will directly store the data inside this store details table. What happens if it's stored like that? If everything is correct, then fine. But if you are not giving anything, any column header or something you giving, so it will directly store over there. But if you want to store, don't want to give all the columns, whatever you have, you want to give three or 2 columns, then what you need to do, you having another option, insert into store details. Here you mention all the required column headers. Okay, suppose I'll show you one. Suppose here I don't want to enter the store name. What I did, I deliberately deleted one of the column here. Okay, what are the columns we are having in this? Store name, sales, order number, store location, city, and pin code. What I did, I don't want to give the store name. So in that case, how I can give? I'm giving insert into table name, and whatever the column headers I want to give, I'll give that column headers. And after that values, then I'm directly giving the values. But whereas here, if you come here, you are not mentioning any headers. So what it will take, whatever you gave, it will take correspondingly. Means if you gave 1 Maruti 500 340, then it will take up to this one only. Like so if you did any changes in this, so you don't know what is the header and everything, it will store directly. So before storing the data also, please be cautious and do whatever correct for you, then do that. I'm just querying that table. Then you so see here, I didn't give store name. I didn't mention that. So it took like null 650 and whatever I have given. I want to give one more. I want to delete pin code also. Pin code and store name is also not there. So here is a facility, you can use that. Even if you want to give the data, then you can give continuous. If you're having whole data, you can give like that, but you are not having some data and you want to remove that, so you can give whatever the required headers. Correspondingly, you can give the data. So by doing that, it will include only required headers. Remaining things it will show as null. Got my point? So this is the way. See here, insert into table name, values you are giving. This is a syntax. Just table name, insert into table name values, and you give the whatever values you having. Here it is like that. Whatever you give in the sequence, it will take in the sequence. So you giving this value 1, value 2, value 3. If you give it in the shuffled, then if the data type matches, it will take directly. Data type doesn't match, then only it will throw the error. So the data which you entered is not correct at that moment. Suppose if these 3 are integers, I gave in shuffled manner, like I don't give in the sequence, whatever the field names. So what will it do? It will take all the data inside the table. It will create the table. So is that correct? No, because all integers, it is accepted. The data is wrong. If one is text and another one is integer, I gave here integer and here text, value 1 integer, value 2 text, then what it will take? It will throw error at that moment. So if it didn't throw exception for you, then you are not aware. So be aware of what you are writing. This is a second way, as now I demonstrated. See, insert into table name, you need to give the table name, and then you need to give the column name. So whatever the column you having, and give the values accordingly. So what is a select statement? Select statement is just to query the table, whatever the table containing. If you need something from there, you need to write select on the top of that table. So how it would be the syntax? Select, you just need to write the select and whatever the column name and from where. So to write the select, so see here, you need to write the select statement is very important for us because we are querying everything by using this select only. What we require to write this? First of all, which table you want to query. For that, what you need to write? You need to write from the table name. Select from table name. So if you want to select everything from the table, whatever the table is having, to select all columns, what you need to write? Star. Yes. Star you are writing means select star from which table. So how the compiler works for this? Select star from table name. Sales info. Suppose I am giving. The compiler will look at this and it will go for this table directly after from it is there. So it will go to this table and it will go for what you have given. Star. Star means I need to give all the information. Then it will give all the information. See here, select. I have already given star from store details. If you gave like this, then you will get all the information in that particular table. Suppose if I want to select only one column, I need to check what are the companies we are having. Then what we need to do? See, I'm going here. I need only store name. What is the store name? So I will give only store name, column name, simple. Store name. And what I need to write here?
From table name.
From table name. Store, very good. Store details. So it is only giving this particular column, store name. So Maruti, Honda, Hyundai, all these like. Suppose if I want to know sales also, how the sales would be. So per weekly, this many cars are selling. So how many cars I want to know? Sales. Suppose I want to know in which city it is. Like that, whatever you require, you can select those column names. And from there, in that table, you can query these things. This is very simple and very basic, whatever I'm saying. But going forward, wherever you writing, you updating everything, these things will play very key role over there. Looks wise, it looks simple. But most of the experienced IT professionals do mistakes. So if you want to select multiple columns, then you need to select whatever the columns you require. See, select column and then the table name from the table name. Select a star for it. So what is alter? Why we are going for alter? Shall I continue in tomorrow class? Tomorrow it won't take this much time. We will discuss we will complete all the basics tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I'm wrapping this session. Any doubts till now? I think most of you know this basics only. Still, if you have any doubt, please let me know.
No.
Fine. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.